What's going on, YouTube? Welcome back to my channel. I'm your host, Portia Dorsey, and we are expanding your success mindset in the area of your mindset, your mission, and your money. Today, we're going to go into mindset, and the title of this video is When You Feel Like Giving Up. Guys, we've all been there. It's unpleasant, but I want to tell you that you have to keep going, okay? It rains on the just and the unjust. You can be doing your best, putting your best foot forward, and something happens. It's not a sign to quit. It's just life, and you just have to keep going. So when you feel like giving up, okay, here we go. Number one. Remember why you started, okay? Remember why you started this journey in the first place. Remember the associated feelings, how excited you were. You had a picture of what the outcome was going to be. You saw yourself being used in whatever your field is, okay? Why you got started. Remember that, and the associated feelings and the excitement, okay? And with that, you're going to have to understand that there's always a test before the testimony. There's always a pit before the palace. Joseph had a dream, but then he got sold into slavery. Then he was in jail. I mean, just read the story of Joseph in the book of Genesis, and you will see. He's a prime example. There's always a wilderness before the promised land. God promised the Israelites that they would inherit the land, but they had to spend 40 years in the wilderness. Don't quote me on that, y'all. But they had to be in the wilderness. He had to purge people out of their camp that were no good for them. He had to purge the Egypt out of them. They had to get back to who they were. He gave them their laws when they were in the wilderness, right? So it was a season of preparation. It made them who they were so that they could go and fulfill the promises of God, which was to dwell in the land. And in order to do that, they had to defeat the enemies who were already in the land. And so they had to be up to par in order to go to that next level of then entering the land and going through those battles. And remember, God fought their battles. But so that lets you know that they had to be right with God before they could go, and then God could fight on their behalf. So God had to clean them up. He had to keep them in the wilderness for some time, and he had to do a work on them and get them prepared, and they had to get right with them. They had to get right with him and realign with him, so then they could go forward, and then God was able to operate on their behalf in their battles. Amen. So you have to remember why you started and understand that there's a pit season before the palace season, that there's a test before the testimony. There's a wilderness before the promised land, okay? But that's why it's so important to have a clear mental picture. And I have a video on a clear mental picture too. I'll actually link that video in the description on a clear mental picture. This is what's going to take you through the pit. It's going to take you through the wilderness. Amen. All right, so when you feel like giving up, so remember why you started. Number two, ask yourself, what's the alternative? What else are you going to do? If you're in this fitness journey and it is like whooping your butt and you're like, man, I quit, like I'm not doing this. What's the alternative? To stop working out? Like you're just going to go back and gain all the weight back that made you dissatisfied in the first place? You're just going to go get like uncomfortably overweight and have breathing problems, have health problems, heart problems. Like, what's the alternative, right? If you're tired of just developing and having to grow and learn in your field, because you're going to have to be proficient in your field in order to achieve a certain level of accomplishment. A workman is worth their wages. So you have to be a good workman if you want your wages to be high. So what's the alternative? You're going to stop studying your field? So then you're never going to get to a point in anything where you will be worth the wages that you desire. So you're going to spend your whole life just below where you really want to be. That is going to eat you alive. That's not going to be comfortable. You're going to live a life of regret if you just stop learning, stop pursuing mastery in your field, and you just go and just do something that's mundane, that does not feed your soul. Amen. Lastly, when you feel like giving up, so remember why you started, ask yourself, what's the alternative? And do something, no matter how small. When you feel like giving up, do something related to your goal. So for instance, my goal was to record 3 YouTube videos a week. That does not always happen. Sometimes I don't feel like recording at all. So I say, okay, let me do 1 video. I got to do something, right? And then usually 1 turns to 2, 2 turns to 3, right? But do something. If you don't feel like going to the gym, go for a walk around your neighborhood. Don't just completely bow out, because that's going to set you back. You want to feed your success tank. You may not be able to put the big rock in there today, but put something in there. Put a pebble in. It's better to put a pebble in this tank than to put a pebble in that tank. This is the going backwards. This is the giving up tank. You want to always put something in your success tank. If you can't lift a rock today, then just as whatever size rock you can lift, just make sure you pick up something and put it in. Yeah, keep feeding your success tank. If you don't feel like cooking healthy, don't cook. I have to cook. I'm on a meal plan, so I have to cook. I'm cooking all week, y'all. But if I don't feel like cooking, I'll just order healthy. I'll just go to Panera, wherever I'm allowed to eat within my plan. But do something that is in alignment with your goal, no matter how small it is. Again, you may not be able to do the whole thing today, but do a piece of it. Do a piece of it. And usually what happens is you say you're going to do something small, but you end up doing more. Because this is the thing, we go off of our feelings. So if I don't feel like doing it, then I won't do it. But when you do it, you get the feeling to do it. So you don't wait for motivation. Movement creates the motivation. So you have to take the action, and then you'll feel like doing it. It's backwards. It's never go off of how you feel or how motivated you are. Be principled. So if you don't feel like going to the gym, that's fine. But I guarantee you, once you get there, you will feel like doing something. You will get back. You will find yourself in that routine. You have your music on, whatever you listen to, you're on your machines, you're doing your thing. And you find yourself slowly start to come around to, okay, yeah, this feels good. Like, I'm glad I came. I'm glad I showed up. But you have to do something, okay? Atomic Habits says it good as well. They say you should have a trigger event. So again, let's stick with working out, right? So instead of thinking in your head, I have to run 3 miles today, just get your shoes on, or just make it a goal to get dressed to run. Don't worry about the actual run, because when you think about the run, you're not gonna want to get out of bed. But if you just think about my goal is just to get dressed for my run, just do that. Just focus on that. And by the time you get dressed for your run, get your water bottle, right? Got your music on, you'll be ready to run. So that is also another technique when you feel like giving up, okay? Remember why you got started. That clear mental picture, which I have a video, I'm going to link that in the description. Ask yourself, what is the alternative? What are you going to do if you do give up? If you don't keep going, what are you going to do? And then do something, no matter how small. When you feel like giving up, still do something anyway, just to continue to feed the success tank. That has been my video. Like, share, subscribe if you've made it this far. I have a coaching community. That link is in my description. Sometimes it doesn't work as a link, but if you go to my page, in the description of my page, all the links work there. So you can always just message me as well. But join my coaching community. It's a group of us holding each other accountable. We have 2 calls a month. And you also get one-on-ones with me. And so it's just a great environment if you're looking to grow and expand your success mindset. Amen. Amen. Y'all have a blessed day.